Tudeep opened her story with a gentle greeting, "Hola to-dos. I wish each of you health and peace in life." But even as she spoke of peace, the very peace James, Tudeep, and little Nhi longed for was beginning to unravel. Out of nowhere, a man emerged, mysterious, heavy with secrets, and carrying the kind of presence that could tilt the course of destiny. The dream of a quiet home, of laughter at the table and safety in the night, suddenly seemed fragile. Who was he? What did he truly want? And how far would he go to change their lives? That night, under a restless sky where the moon hid behind swollen clouds, the life of James, Tudeep, and Nhi would change forever. The calm before the storm. The small house radiated warmth. The faint fragrance of freshly brewed tea drifted through the air, while Nhi's innocent laughter echoed like music through the modest rooms. For a moment, happiness felt real. Yet even in that serenity, something unsettled stirred in the air, an omen James could feel before he could explain. A sudden chill ran down his spine. Years of instinct told him danger was close. He stepped outside into the yard, his gaze scanning the darkened road. And then he saw him, a figure, standing still in the shadows. He didn't move, he didn't speak. He only watched, with eyes that glimmered strangely in the night. Tudeep, noticing James's absence, followed to the door. "James? What is it?" she asked, her voice trembling. He didn't look at her. His words came low, almost a growl. "There's someone there." The man stepped forward, revealing a face carved by time, clothes worn thin, and an expression torn between pain and resolve. He wasn't a mere passerby. His presence carried weight, like a man who bore truths sharp enough to cut through any heart. Nhi, curious, tugged at her mother's arm. "Mame, who is that?" Silence. Until the man finally spoke. "James, it's time you learned the truth. Secrets at the doorstep." The words struck like stones against glass. James stood steady, but inside, a storm rose. What truth? What shadows from the past had found him here, in the home he built to escape them? Tudeep's pulse quickened. Instinctively, she pulled Nhi close, guarding her like a treasure about to be stolen. "What do you want from us?" she asked, her voice nearly breaking. The man inhaled deeply, his eyes fixed on James. "I came not to steal, nor to threaten. I came to reveal. And when I finish, nothing in your lives will ever be the same." The wind rattled the shutters. James's jaw tightened. Something told him this man's presence was bound to the very legacy he had tried to bury. Tudeep, trembling, feared this was the moment she dreaded most, the reason Nhi might one day be taken away. That night, the mysterious man did not merely knock on their door. He entered, sat at their table, demanded to be heard, and with him, he brought a truth capable of turning their world upside down. A past unearthed. The stranger's steps were heavy as he crossed the room. James remained firm, though his heart raced. Tudeep watched every move with suspicion, clutching Nhi so tightly the girl squirmed. Finally, the man spoke, his voice hoarse, raw with history. James, you don't know who I am. But I knew your father. The name struck James like a blow. My father? What do you know of him? The man sighed, scanning the room as though seeking courage. Your father was not the man you think. There were secrets. Secrets that destroyed families, mine included. Tudeep's eyes widened. You mean, this has to do with James's family? He nodded slowly. Yes? Your father, James, took land, took money, left debts and enemies. John is not the only one seeking vengeance. I was there. I watched my own life torn apart because of his decisions. James felt the ground tilt beneath him. Whispers he had heard for years, shadows he had ignored, all now stood before him, wearing a human face. Then, who are you? He asked quietly. The man steadied himself. My name is Min. Before I lost everything, I had a daughter. She was taken from me. Since then, I've searched endlessly. When I heard of Nhi, I thought, perhaps she is linked to my past. The room froze. Tudeep clutched Nhi tighter, her voice almost a whisper. Are you saying she could be your granddaughter? Min lowered his gaze, torn between hope and grief. I don't wish to take her from you. I only want the truth. If she carries my blood, I need to know. A family on the edge. James's chest burned with conflicting emotions. Rage at the shadows his father left behind, pity for Min's broken life, fear of losing the child he now called daughter. Tudeep's tears fell freely. She is mine, Tudeep said, her voice quivering but fierce. My daughter, my life. She cannot belong to anyone else. Min's eyes shone with pain. I don't want to break you. I only want to understand. Secrets cannot stay buried forever. The wind slammed against the windows, as though echoing the turmoil inside. Nhi, innocent to the weight of the conversation, looked up at James with wide eyes. Papai, why are you crying? James scooped her up, holding her close. Nothing, my little one. Nothing will take you from us. But inside, he knew that promise would soon be tested. Love versus legacy. That night, sleep eluded James. He paced in silence while Tudeep cried herself into exhaustion, and Nhi slept peacefully with her small stuffed bear. James's reflection in the window stared back like a stranger, a man burdened by legacies he never asked for. At dawn, James sought out Tum, his trusted confidant. "I need everything on Min," he said firmly. Who he is, where he came from, and whether Nhi is truly linked to his past. Tum hesitated. "And if it's true," James clenched his fists, "then I'll face it. But no one, will take Nhi or Deep from me." Back home, Tudeep's hands trembled as she prepared lunch. Every chop of the knife carried the question, what if Min is right? What if Nhi is not only mine? Later that night, James brought her wildflowers, laying them gently on the table. He didn't speak. Instead, he pulled her into a fierce embrace. "No matter what," he whispered, "Nhi is our daughter." No truth, no past, no man can change that. And in that embrace, though fear lingered, hope flickered, the hope that love could be stronger than blood, stronger than secrets. The truth that heals. Life has a way of testing us not with calm, but with storms. For James and Tudeep, the storm arrived in the form of a man carrying secrets they never sought. The fear of losing Nhi shook deep to her core. The guilt of his father's shadow weighed on James like chains. Yet in that crucible of fear and revelation, they discovered a truth deeper than bloodlines. Family is not just inheritance, it is choice. Nhi was proof. Her laughter, her innocence, her trust, they were not products of birthright but of care, sacrifice, and love. Perhaps Min's pain would one day find resolution. Perhaps the truth would emerge, harsh but necessary. But for James and Tudeep, one vow stood above all. Nhi would never face the world alone again. Because family, real family, is not written in documents or bound by law. It is carved in the quiet promise to stay, to protect, to love, no matter what storms arrive.